Okay, we're here. Hey, hello. Welcome to Knowledge is Power podcast live. And I tell you what, thank you, Gina, for texting me because I dozed off to sleep and whew, man, I
That's
think
all
I'm glad.
right.
Let's pay. I'm glad I can count on you for something.
Come on.
Yeah, how you been?
I've been good, busy, but
Yeah,
good.
good, good, good. Let's see if we can get this deal here. There we go. We got wonder why this source is here. So let me get that out off the screen. But yeah, we're doing fine. I've been doing great, just trying to find out what I'm doing. We're on a new flat. We're back on another platform, Restream, because of the increase of price in the other platform we were with. Just didn't was increased was so much. I decided to move on to another screen here, platform. So tonight we're going to be talking about um, um, social media, all the misconceptions and that causes a reality and social media. We all watch social media. We all on social media. We there's so many platforms on social on it, and I. You know, I just found out what my this deal was. Let me get that off right now. Wow. Did it go off? No. Yeah. Okay. No, it didn't go off. I'm trying to get this site off here. That didn't do it. That didn't do it. So we'll just leave that site on here until I figure it out. Yes. So we're here and we're going to be talking about all the different platforms on Social Security that we're getting. So social media getting, that we're getting so many misinformed information, and not only that, you got the scammers, you got the spams, you got misleading things that that goes on social media. You know, one of the best things to do is do your research the
Mhm.
true facts on social media. You can get caught up in so much in it, and that it can cause so much issues. And the biggest problem with social media today includes privacy concerns, the spread of misinformation, mental health impacts, and polarization, cyberbullying, and it goes on and on and on. Right now, we're having a lot of it right now, and it influences on democracy and public discourse and the misconception it causes in life, and it's very important. Jen, you got something to say about that?
So my background, my degree is in communication. And one of the things that we were taught in college was how to navigate through misinformation, and how to fact check everything before declaring something is true. And so with experiencing that alone, it kind of opened my mind to a different perspective and not just take men at their word, not take, social media and other platforms, even some of the major news articles these days and major news platforms. Um, I hate to say that I hate to be overly spiritual, but we are spiritual beings and we were all created by God, whether the people believe it or not. So, with that being said, the number one thing that I like to use as a tool is Holy Spirit and discernment. Also, For those who are a little bit more, not spiritual or carnal as far as in their thinking and need evidence or scientific evidence and all that other kind of stuff, it's really just important to try to find the most accurate source that you possibly can to kind of fact check what you've heard. And when you was talking about the bullying situation and um as far as just being on social media, period, everybody has an opinion. And when you get on social media and you decide to post, it should be a disclaimer when you decide to click send to say disclaimer in big red letters saying you are opening yourself to millions of people opinion about the very thing that you're posting. And so you have to be open into receiving different people's ideas, different people's outlooks, opinions. And then sometimes when they started to become aggressive, not to take them at their word, because these are just people typing behind the screen, and sometimes we take those words literal. And a lot of times because we already have internal issues within itself, that we can't just eat what we need to eat and throw away what we should throw away. So with that being said, we have to open this disclaimer in our minds to understand that people are going to have opinions, and because of that, we have to be open to that. And if we don't like it, there is a strong button that I absolutely love, and that is delete.
Right,
That
right, right,
delete, unfollow, and block. You don't have to put up with it.
right,
So with all of this stuff that's going on in our country, um even with politics in general, there's so much information that's being passed around. And at this point, for those who are listening and watching, you have to be mindful on what you listen to and what you open yourself up to. If you don't hear it at this point, if you don't hear it from the horse's mouth, it was never said. And then you have to understand and draw a line of differentiation between people's opinions, people's outlooks, people's perspective versus the actual truth of a thing. Because there's so many ways to look at a thing, and our minds are so vast and vibrant as far as our internal thinking, that we can go down a rabbit hole, and going down that rabbit hole, there's so many avenues that we can go down to get a thing and get information. So and even having these open conversations and these open dialogues with other people, we have to even open ourselves in that moment to understand, like, hey, this is your opinion, I respect that. And even if we disagree, we can disagree and keep it moving. This don't have to mess up our relationship. We don't have to argue, we don't have to fuss, we don't have to cuss, we don't have to do anything that's going to attack each other's character. But Tony, I really believe that internally, this when people start to make it a little bit more aggressive, and when people start to argue and create all this dysfunction, that literally shows the person's integrity, moral, and values.
right.
And that's a whole nother thing. Like, I'm not the most best person in the world. However, I can stand in the conversation. If somebody don't agree with me, I can respect it. And if somebody was to call me out my name, I won't react to it because I know who I am. However, there are people out there who take that literal, and feelings get hurt and all these other type of things. And we take things at people's words, whatever leave their mouth, we take it as Bible. And so that can be a blessing and a curse depending on what it says. So that's a
Exactly.
lot.
It is, and I've experienced it, and I have experienced it many, many times. How uh, people that doesn't know what they're talking about are researching what they're talking about before they post, and cause so much problems with just and then don't understand what they're saying. Like you said
Hmm.
this, you said now, you said this. Be aware before you post,
Hmm.
because you when you once you post this, it's going all over the place, and
Hmm.
you got to know how to know how to accept it,
Yeah.
because everybody has different opinions.
Right.
I like to make sure when I'm posting something that I've got the facts. I've got pure facts before I
Hmm.
post. It's gotten worse since September, since January the 20th. It's gotten
Hmm.
worse. This country is so divided, and and a lot of it is a lot of misinformation. Period. It's full of misinformation. Then you have some that is not educated before they post something. They're not posting the correct information. They want to argue with you or go against what you said, turn it around or flip it around with what you
Hmm.
post to fit their agenda. And we've got an issue. So one of the things I said that when you post me, and why are you posting, is that
Hmm.
what are you hoping to accomplish?
Hmm.
Do you want to inform, encourage, embarrass, vent? What's your end goal? So I look at that as before I do anything. I act like to kind of ask those who are on social media to make sure you know what you're talking about. What are you posting for? What's your end game? What is your likelihood that this is the best venue which through which it would accomplish your goals? Has social media posts ever caused you to think differently? If
Hmm.
not, why do you think yours would be that for someone else? That's something to think about. Why are you posting? And one of the most important thing is that it is true. Find out that it is
Mm.
true.
Yep.
Because it will rise a AI and deepfake videos. You know,
Mm.
it's increasingly clear that we need to be diligent in our pursuit of truth. It is really easy to find something that supports what I believe and excitingly hit share if I believe
Mm.
it and I support it.
Hmm.
Problem is, it may not be true just because someone thinks is smart says something doesn't make it so. So, do you want to speak truthfully, or do you want to feel mugged into a certainly that you're right? And we refuse to say sometimes we post out that we're wrong. So I say this: those are very different things between right and wrong. What should be posted on social community? You should post what is facts,
Yeah.
truth.
That's it. Or don't post at all. We are a culture, not even just a culture, because this is happening all over the world. What people just have to say something. Like, you have to state your opinion. You have to make your claims, and in some of the sense, I have to ask myself, because there have been plenty of times, and God is my witness, that I have had something in the subject box that I wanted to, relay how I feel in something, or even when something that, why I got sparkles behind me. That's crazy. Even with even something that I feel, something that God has shown me, because as being a prophet of God, there is a lot of things that God revealed to me as 100% truth. I mean, it comes from God, but even in that sense, sometimes He don't allow me to relay that message. Sometimes He don't allow me to speak what I saw or what I heard. So with all that being said, there's been a lot of things that I wanted to type and was getting ready to send, but then I completely deleted, because I have to think about, is this going to edify anyone? Is this going to edify me? And so when I ask myself these questions, and it's nobody but Holy Spirit that brings that type of stuff to the forefront of my mind, I have to say, if it ain't edifying the body, if it ain't helping nobody, if it's not educating somebody as far as like the way that, God would see fit, delete it. It's not even important. If you want to have these conversations, there's a thing called a group chat with your friends. And there's a lot of things that I could only talk about my friends with. And then even with that, there's things that I simply just should not say, and I don't say it. I remember in the past when I call it loose lips. when I would just say whatever I'm feeling, and who gonna pop me type attitude, right? And I would
Hmm.
post this stuff, and I used to buck the system a lot, as far as as far as in my outlook on things. And so posting stuff that is kind of contradicting, or kind of like a hot topic, and there's 50 million different opinions that's surfing in the internet at that moment, I would post, and then there would be like 300 something comments of everybody typing and giving their opinion. And so when I look back at those moments, and I would think, did this help anybody? Did this help the situation? Or did I ruffle up some feathers and end up getting some people to unfollow me behind foolishness? And
Right.
so the only thing that I would stand on all 10 is anything that the Lord has given me permission to say. And if He gave me permission, and I mean, because when we look at things in the Bible, for example, Jesus, this is Jesus we're talking about. This is the Son of God. This is another formation of God. So whatever left His mouth was truth. But yet we had the Pharisees that were sitting around, trying to make it seem like he was under their feet. Like, the stuff that he was doing wasn't of God. That he was possessed by demons, and he wasn't the son of God, and all this other kind of stuff. They was expecting him to come in another way. So even regardless of if you're speaking 100% facts, you still have to be open and receptive to there's still going to be some naysayers. So that's when we have to be solid within ourselves and be like, I said what I said. Knock the dust off your feet and keep it moving. But it's crazy how we have all of these misconceptions about what our title is about reality. Some of us live in a false reality. Some of us like to live in a false reality. It's almost like a veil that's being put over our eyes to make us feel like this is reality and this is truth. Like, this is not the Matrix, okay? It's not real. The Matrix isn't real. But it makes people feel like what they are experiencing, what they have to say is truth, is real, but ain't got damn fact to what they have to say.
You
This
know,
Our culture is going crazy.
I know. Hey, another thing that it causes mental distress, and the mental distress has increased with the rise of social networks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like over the last decade, which we have registered an increase in registered mental health problems. These is due less to an actual increase in mental health issues, and more with the fact that it becomes more socially acceptable to talk about.
Mm.
So one of the reasons why people are more openly talking about their struggles with mental illness is actually thanks to the accessibility of these conversations on social media
Mm-hmm.
platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and more recently TikTok. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
all spaces where people are forging community with whom they can talk to or talk about their mental health struggles, seek advice, and find the proper care service. The fact that people are turning to social network is to talk about mental health illness is sheds light on the pressing need for
Mm-hmm.
more accessible mental health resources and social changes in general. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
anything, putting the blame on social media rather than public infrastructures diverts the conversation from much needed policy changes. So, like, and then you have girls and young women are more susceptible of being negatively affected by social media. It can go
Mm-hmm.
work both ways.
Mm-hmm. The influence on our children and on our young adults, and not just from social media, but from TV, to the influence of celebrities, and the influence in on all social media platforms that has now become celebrities. The influence that it is having on our generation, especially the Gen Z generation, is impactful in a good way and in a bad way. And
Right.
I feel like it's more in a bad way than good way now versus then.
Hmm.
Um a lot of things was censored when I mean I'm way younger. I want to say way younger. I maybe 20 years younger than you. I don't know, Tony. You look like you about in your late 40s or early mid 40s, but I'm 36 and a half, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
so I remember when I was younger, um we still had structure. We didn't have social media like that when I was coming up. Maybe late middle school, early high school is when we started having MySpace. And even MySpace, it was like, you had to afford a computer, first of all, because we really didn't have cell phones. Cell phones weren't really popping like that. And when we did have cell phones, it wasn't no LED screen, it wasn't no 4K. It was a little flip phone, black and white, and that, I mean, gray and white, gray and black technically, screen, and that was it. And so our influence came for whatever we were around, as far as our home, our neighbors, the guy at the local grocery store, our grandmothers and all this other kind of stuff. But now we have all these platforms that children have access to. Mothers and fathers are wanting to keep these kids busy with these tablets. And it's not a bad thing, but when you allow it to consume and raise the child. And then we have the music has changed. Even in my generation, there was a shift in the music. But like in the 60s and the 50s, when in the 40s on down, that music was totally different versus now. A lot of things are not as censored as it was then. The
Mm-hmm.
sensory in our social media and in our music and our TV has changed drastically. We got same sex just popping like it's just regular, like it's a regular thing. But back in the day, that was not allowed. That wasn't acceptable. And you might see one or two shows that may have a gay guy, but he ain't just all that flamboyant. He probably just like low key gay, but you can tell he gay. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, and we are in a society that wants. We are in a society and a country. Let me make that specific, because there are other countries that don't allow certain things. So
Mm-hmm.
we're in a country that has so much free will, that has so much liberty in how we function, how we talk, what we have access to where now it's becoming a blessing and a curse. And you have to be mindful on what you consume on the daily basis, because now mental health issues is on a rise.
Right.
The suicidal rates is
Right.
skyrocket.
Right.
Now we have, identity crisis skyrocket. The
Right.
therapists are making more money than they have ever made before.
Right.
They are booked and busy.
Now, do you know? Do you know? Actually, know that the Surgeon General's advisory describes several negative effects of social media, and it is including anxiety, body dissatisfaction. I mean, body image issues,
Mm,
depression,
mm,
exposure to bullies, low self-esteem, poor mental health, contributing to the development of eating disorder, poor sleep
Jesus.
habits, and self-harm. And that's what we're talking about, suicide. Uh, yeah, too much of it will cause these problems. And I got to, you know what? I got to get myself off of it much as I am on it too. I've got to find something else to exercise my mind. We were talking about, I was at the beach house yesterday for the cousin birthday party.
Hmm.
And we were talking about that the same subject. What we used to do, what would we have done without social media? What was we doing before then? How did we? Someone was at the table talking. I had an accident. And I happened to see, and I don't know how I got in touch with my dad. Well, we care. How did you? Because we didn't have cell phones then. 25 years ago, we didn't have cell phones. Uh, and but I remember we had to go to somebody's house, make a phone call,
Mhm.
or to the store, to the phone booth somewhere. We had to make a call. We got those things done. So now we are lost now because we don't know how to go back without social media. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, we're a lost generation, and this is causing a lot of things
Yeah.
going on right now. I was reading I was reading about the hospital, the local hospital here, the Baptist hospital system, and where their computer system was hacked, and it was out computers. So everything now has to be done by natural hand, and those young employees that's trying to uh, put the work in, it's lost because everything was right there at their fingers on the computer. They can
Mm.
press the button and it tells them what they need to know. Well, now, I mean, it can happen in McDonald's. Well, if the system goes out, the point of system goes out, then how do you? They can't add and subtract monies because they've never had to do it because they went to their. It's so convenient now with the computers and go and put the numbers in, and there it is. It adds up. By doing it by hand, they don't know how to give you your change back
Mm.
if the cash register doesn't tell them to do it, what to give them back.
Yeah.
So we're messed up here, and not and the funny thing about it is that it's not going back. It's going to continue. There's got AI and all this other stuff going on. It's just so much that in this world that's going on right now. Social media causes a lot of that.
Mhm.
So now I ask this question, and let me see here. The media so uh, the conflicts that how do you handle the conflicts that when you posting something? And you have a conflict with that post? What is your steps of what you have how you handle it?
Um, it depends on, like, I have a couple of videos that went viral before, and it depends on if it went viral or if it's like low key. So what I mean by that is, if I got hundreds of thousand reviews, I really don't care. I don't respond. That's too many people to want to just like have something to say to. Or like on my Facebook, or when I have videos that don't get a lot of views, and it's maybe like, let me just say 10 or maybe 20 comments, and there is, kind of, a back and forth thing, or someone having something to say. If I feel led to, I would say something for clarity, but not for an argument. And I'm coming in love. And a lot of times I won't even respond publicly. I will inbox them,
Hmm.
because my whole point is I ain't trying to start no drama. This is not the Atlanta Housewives. This is not the Housewives of Beaumont. You're not going to get a show from my page seeing the back and forth thing, from comment to comment. Because I can't lie, when people go off on Facebook and I see 500 comments, and in this people in this kind of, sometimes I be in the, not as much as I used to. So let me stop lying. I don't do it as much as I used to. But let me just talk about the past. I would read and be like, give me a bowl of popcorn and some Kool-Aid, because I'm about to read all of this foolishness. So, with that being said, like, I'm not, this page is not for your entertainment. This is
Right.
not a messy page. So I'm gonna try to keep it cute as much as I possibly can. And if something is just like too much, I would just delete the post. Not my
Hmm.
post, but the person's post.
Yeah. And ruled as it is right now. In other words, it is really getting ugly now because of some of the political subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that just so ugly and evil and mean and also uneducated that is posting. It causes people have to be careful because there's a behavior addiction is going on social media. Um, and when someone's come back with me, the first thing I'm going to say, hey, listen, let me ask you something.
Mm.
Screenshot me your proof, your evidence that this
Right.
is facts. This is truth. Before I comment, because when I comment, I'm going to come back with you with the real deal.
Whew. And people should be open to accountability.
Right.
They should be open to, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about facts. If you really want to know at this point, if you want to know, let's have a conversation about it. Let's have an adult conversation about it. And let's not, make it to where we about to tear off each other's head either. So let's have a conversation about it. And if you open to it, call me on the phone. Let's talk about it. But at the end of the day, if you're not really open to receive what I have to say or to receive the facts, then don't waste my time or yours.
Hmm.
That's it. Like, we let's not do this today.
Right. 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 But it happens, and then that we're gonna on our later show we're gonna talk about we're gonna come back again on this subject again, and we're gonna want to talk about social media, the addiction it is that it carries with you on social media. It's a behavior, your addiction that you carry. It's just like gambling. So, and also we're going to talk about let's see, I had it written down here. Those who use social media over 3 hours each day face twice the risk of having negative mental health outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
including depression and anxiety symptoms. Wow, I didn't know.
Facts.
And that is according to the teenagers at between the age of 12 and 16. And I didn't know that. So
Now,
yes, yes,
here's
it does. Social media does causes anxiety. That's something we I want to talk about on our next show when we come back. And one of the things we're going to talk about is we're not going to be on next Sunday. So that's Super Bowl Sunday. So my question to you is, what day you like to come?
so I'm not a football fan, but
I'm
everybody
not.
else is. So I know
Yeah.
ain't nobody gonna be like trying to watch our show. So um whatever, I guess a Monday night. It
Okay.
depends. Oh shoot. I have class on second and third Monday and Tuesday. I have class.
Okay. The Tuesday night show is booked to the with the uh, round table talk show. So
Mm-hmm.
we have Wednesday through Friday. Unless we can do Sunday at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, that we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll talk then, but we're still live. But we appreciate guys. We'd like to not keep you on our podcast very long. We'd like to do between 30 to 40 minutes, and we like to. Our whole purpose for this is to make sure that we educate our community, and this is our brain point. This is our point of doing what we do here at Knowledge is Power, is bringing you education information.
Mhm.
I have a old gray haired goat on the message talking about the Texans, and she's saying all the Texan is in the Super Bowl. I'm gonna ask her the same. I'm gonna ask her if the trash Cowboys is in the playoff. But anyway, they in the Super Bowl. But anyway, they ain't seen the Super Bowl in 29 years. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Not 29 years.
Yeah, 29 straight years. Uh, so again, not to get off subject, we're going to talk about the effects of social media on our next show that affect teens and mental health. Okay.
All right. Y'all
All
have
right.
a good night. Thank you
Y'all
for
have a good
watching.
night, everybody, and we'll see you after the Super Bowl. No, we're going to come on before the Super Bowl, right? No.
Yep.
Yes, before the Super Bowl. So I'll get with you and we'll come up with a decent date. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us and keep now what? Yeah, like listening to us. We like to make sure that we keep you informed and keep you abreast of things that's going on. And again, we thank you again for watching and listening to Knowledge and Power Podcast Live on Facebook, uh, YouTube, now, we are just about. So please join us when you can. Thank you so much, and